Hello and welcome to Banshee of Savile Row. We are here at the bespoke women's wear tailoring brand in the heart of Savile Row, number 13 to be precise, in central London. My name is Anne Marie Tomchak. I'm a journalist who specialises in technology and sustainability. And I am joined by Ruby Slevin, the creative director of Banshee of Savile Row, for a very special London Fashion Week presentation, which is in the Metaverse. Ruby, we've entered the Banshee Metaverse for London Fashion Week, which feels really exciting. This presentation is exclusively in the Metaverse. It's been made possible by an all-woman team, an Irish woman called Aileen Carville, who created the Fringe Fashion Week Metaverse experience in collaboration with Cadine James of the Immersive Kind Virtual Gallery. Can we start by talking about how you're approaching London Fashion Week this year, because it feels quite different to your typical presentation?
It is very different, and I've been really excited about it. Actually, it was you who introduced me to Aileen last year, and we were talking about, she set up this wonderful business, Metaverse for fashion brands, and the talk about collaborating and doing something together just felt very new, very exciting. And the idea of bringing Savile Row to the Metaverse for Fashion Week, it's never been done before. And I was really curious about how it could work and how it could translate. So it's been a really interesting collaboration to work on, all these amazing women together putting this on.
And Aileen is someone who's worked at the forefront of fashion technology for over 25 years, so you're in really, really good hands. It feels like it's another way to, for people to discover a brand like Banshee of Savile Row by coming to it through the Banshee Metaverse.
Well, that's kind of what myself and Aileen were discussing, was the idea that people who maybe have never even heard of Savile Row before can discover it through the Metaverse, which just feels really exciting, because otherwise, maybe they wouldn't know about it.
And one of the exciting things that you're doing for this presentation is you've got a QR code on the website, and people will be able to see the QR code and the link by joining this presentation as well, where you're inviting people to actually come into the bricks and mortar store where we physically are right now. We're in the Banshee Metaverse, but we're also in the bricks and mortar store on 13 Savile Row. Tell us a little bit about that.
So where we are right now is actually where I would meet clients in the real world, as we call it, and
IRL.
IRL is the new...
Not Ireland.
Yes, exactly.
In real life.
In real life, I'm learning all the lingo. So this is actually where I meet people, and I will give them private design consultations to make them a suit or a coat. But if somebody accesses the QR code through the Metaverse, which can be found on our website, if they book in an appointment and order a suit or a coat, then I'm going to also make them a complimentary shirt as part of that.
Okay.
And
this is for London Fashion Week.
It's for London Fashion Week, and we're launching this out today.
Right, so you heard it here first. There's a QR code, you've got to scan it. If you're curious about Savile Row, if you're curious about tailoring and you want to find out a little bit more about it, this is a complimentary consultation with you, with a Savile Row tailor, where you can come in and talk through the process. And then if you decide to buy a suit or a coat, you will design a beautiful shirt for them as well.
Yes, on top of designing them the suit or the coat. And
got you.
Yeah.
And people can find out about that on bansheeofsavilerow.com on the website.
Yeah.
Brilliant. A lot of people will have heard of Savile Row before. I mean, this is one of London's most iconic streets. It's really quite magical walking around here, and some of the other neighbouring streets like Old Bond Street. These are places that, are steeped in so much heritage and tradition, and that we're renowned for men's tailoring. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely. When I first started working on Savile Row, 7 or 8 years ago, there was literally nothing for women here on the street, and it was only menswear. And it was really hard for a woman to even get, to come into a men's place and get something cut if a woman was interested in tailoring, and which I just thought was crazy, because I think women love wearing beautiful tailoring and always have done. If you look back to the likes of Katharine Hepburn. So for me, setting up Banshee was a no-brainer to give women that opportunity. And what I love about women's tailoring on Savile Row is that it can be rebellious, and we have so much more fun with it, and sort of we play with our tailoring, and we turn it on its head, and we wear things in such different ways and with such a self-expression.
Well, and even the way you're wearing your suit today. All the jewellery, the colour, just so many different ways of expressing yourself with it. But there's something about Savile Row as well, and sustainability, that perhaps it might not seem so obvious on the face of it to a lot of people, but sustainability is really kind of at the heart of what Savile Row has done for a very, very long time. Can I ask you a little bit about your approach to sustainability? Because for people who may not, see sustainability as being the obvious thing when they think about tailoring and Savile Row.
Well, actually, going back, what drew me initially to Savile Row when I was back studying fashion design was the fact that I realised that there was these suits that were immaculate, that were sort of 50, 60 years old, and they were still in perfect condition. And that's why I came here to begin with.
So they didn't fall apart after like 5 wears?
No, and I was kind of seeing all this sort of the fashion that sort of fell apart exactly after a few wears, which I just thought, well, this is crazy. I want clothes for me personally that I can keep wearing year after year. And so that was my first thing that actually drew me to Savile Row. And then when I got here, I realized like the craftsmanship, using techniques that have been around for hundreds of years, so everything actually does stay together, using these beautiful heritage fabrics that we use that, don't bobble after a few wears. We only make what we need to make instead of kind of that mass-produced model. Again, why we wanted to do something different for Fashion Week was that we're not falling into that typical wholesale model. And then what do you do?
Like driving as much consumerism and growth as possible.
Yes. And then maybe you have extra stock, and what happens to that at the end? And, all these ideas of it winding up in landfill, kind of horrify me. And I just love the idea of you only cut and make what you need to make.
So less waste.
Less waste. And the amount of wears that you get of an item, over the course of the years, it's wonderful. You get your value from that.
So cost per wear, where you look at the price tag, it might seem like a more expensive route, but actually when you start to translate it into how long you're going to have the item, and also how you can possibly update it over time. So
like this suit's 4 years old.
Looks brand new.
And I have worn this, and it's my go-to suit that my dependable one that just makes me feel great. I never get bored wearing it. I have so much fun styling it different ways, depending on my mood. I can make this very casual. I can wear it with separates. I wear the jacket with jeans. I could, and that's what I love about it.
So these are hard-working pieces, staples for your wardrobe that are really versatile. Yes. Like the idea of a suit, people think like, should I wear this for a special occasion or for the boardroom?
Oh no.
Is that changing now?
I would anyone that I design for, I always say, I don't want you to have something that is sitting there in your wardrobe and you're kind of waiting for some special occasion. Like you would with a sort of a black tie dress or whatever. It's maybe comes out of the cupboard once a year, once every couple of years. I want you to integrate this into your existing wardrobe and for it to elevate what you already have and make it work for you. So you can wear it as separate, so you can have something to wear for any occasion. And that's, like I was talking to you the other day about the Banshee killer black suit, and the idea that you have this one suit to rule all suits. So if you want to wear it to a board meeting, or you want to wear it to black tie, or you want to wear the blazer with jeans, that you can do that, and you have that freedom to do that.
Well, it's interesting because the nature of wearing suits really feels like it has changed in the last few years as people have been working from home a lot more, but now we're out in the world again a lot more than we were, compared to over the pandemic. So it's almost like the suit has been going through this, it's been redefined And you were already redefining that pre-pandemic.
Yeah, the suit is, I think it's a vital piece for any wardrobe. And actually referring back to the dress, the evening dress, the amount of women that are opting for, say, a tuxedo to wear to black tie events because they don't want to have to be restricted to wearing a dress. And then they want the tuxedo to build into their everyday wardrobe. And again, you can relate that back to sustainability because they don't want something that's just sitting there gathering dust. They want it for all these different functions. And I think the idea of having a suit that was just for one occasion, oh, I just wear a suit to work, or oh, I'll only wear a suit for a black tie. It's like, no, those things have all crossed over and those rigid lines no longer exist.
One of the things that's becoming more and more popular as people become more cognizant of sustainability and maintaining much loved items in their wardrobe, beautiful pieces, is upcycling or altering them or repairing. Is this something that you do as well? Like, let's say I come into you with this suit and I want to, maybe make a few changes but still love the suit but just want to give it a little bit of a refresh.
Yeah, we actually provide an alterations service and we always encourage people, even if it's from another brand, it doesn't have to be a Banshee piece. Like if you want to bring in a Chanel jacket, our guys are the best tailors that you're going to find who can
You can trust a Savile Row tailor with something as precious as that.
Yes, so they're not going to muck it up because it is very specialised work, but we can. And, and there's different brands of people that, stuff that come in. It's not just something like Chanel, but it's just that we can help you, repair it, change the shape on it so it fits better. Because a lot of the time, again, if you're buying something ready to wear, it's not necessarily going to fit as well as if you got something made for you. So, but if you do some alterations, it can look great. And otherwise you might not want to wear it because you're going, oh God, it just fits me a bit funny here. I love it, but it just isn't fitting right. Or it's something old that needs a refresh and, you could change the lining or do something and it just kind of brings it back to life again. Instead of kind of thinking, oh no, this is past its sell-by date. There's so many things that you can do to bring things back to life so you don't have to get rid of them. And it's going again with that kind of circular idea of fashion, that it's not kind of just one dimensional in one direction.
And they often say the most sustainable item of clothing is the one that's already in your wardrobe. So it's not necessarily always about going out and getting something new.
Yeah.
What about materials in terms of the kind of textiles and fabrics? You mentioned lining. You're wearing velvet. I'm wearing a very different fabric. It feels like there's some wool in here. You're wearing British wool that's made in Huddersfield. I'm wearing cotton velvet that's also made in England. And so a smaller supply chain. It's not too far away.
These lovely local English mills that, again, they've been around for hundreds of years. We also will use French silks. We use Irish tweed, like hand-woven Donegal tweed, which you can't get cleaner than that in terms of how they produce it in these wonderful mills where they're using all these looms from hundreds of years ago as well, so they're not even using new machinery. It's just, it's beautiful. And where we source our materials is very important to us in Banshee because we don't want to be using fabrics that aren't sustainable, that are mass produced and that will damage the environment in any way. So we're very careful about what we use.
And do people ask you about those kinds of things when they're coming in? Are they interested to know about, where is this from? It does change how they feel about the clothes. I know myself, if I understand either who's made the clothing or where the fabrics are from, what it's made from, if it's more environmentally conscious, it kind of reframes how I feel about that garment and how I feel in it as well.
I was actually surprised when I kind of started Banshee about how many of the people that come into us are sustainably conscious, and they always ask, they want to know that it is hand stitched, that the fabrics that we use, where do they come from? And we always get asked these questions by people coming in who seem to be very aware of that. A lot of people also will save up to buy something from us and not be buying other cheaper things in the meantime that then they wind up getting rid of. They would rather invest in something, because
So
again,
quality over quantity.
it's exactly, you have less clothing that is better quality.
And will last you longer.
And I've done that. I now have a very small capsule wardrobe. And
Yeah, I mean, your wardrobe now is actually, you know, for me is an ultimate goal to have pared it back that much and to feel like you're not, you know, struck by the paradox of choice when you open up those wardrobe doors and feel like you've got nothing to wear, because there's actually just so much noise and clutter in there. You've actually gone the opposite direction, which is really fascinating to me.
Yeah, I used to get overwhelmed trying to get dressed, because I'd have all of this choice and there was just like a couple of good pieces in, then with all the kind of the not so great pieces, or pieces that I wasn't in love with. And then I'd get really stressed. It would take me hours to pick out an outfit. And now I just love the fact that I could just go there, done.
It's very curated.
It's so easy, and everything you can mix and match with each other. They all go together, and it just takes me 5 minutes max to pick an outfit.
If I told you, okay, I've got a flight, we're going straight to the airport now, you've got 5 minutes to pack, you will have no problem doing that.
No problem at all.
Unlike
it used
me,
to take me days.
Yeah, unlike me, I'm the world's worst packer.
Or I travel with huge suitcases.
Let's talk about the new collection, because that's why we're here. You know, you're previewing part of the new collection for London Fashion Week. And here in the Banshee Metaverse, this is where you're going to hear about it first.
Yeah.
You've got some big news to share with us. I was, you know, really excited when you told me about this. So please share it with everybody else. What can we expect from the new collection?
So we are bringing the first ever Banshee LBD to our work, and it's been such an exciting project, something I've been dreaming of for a long time.
So the little black dress is coming to Savile Row?
Yes, first time I think there's ever been a little black dress on Savile Row, which
that's amazing.
Yeah.
And so tell me a little bit about it. What can we expect from it? What is it like? Can you describe it for us?
So this one, it's a tuxedo jacket that we made longer, and it's double-breasted. And the idea is that whilst I wanted the concept of it to be the same as with the rest of the clothes. So it's not just for an evening party, which it is essentially a cocktail dress. I want you to be able to wear it as a jacket. I think it would be, you can wear it with jeans. I think you can wear it as a suit. You know, what I like is that you can be worn in loads of different ways. And the sexy cocktail dress, of course, because I think that's really important to be able to do that.
And the collection's name?
Bring Sexy Back.
So where was the inspiration for Bring Sexy Back? Have we lost our sexiness?
I kind of feel that I think me as a designer, there've been certain ethereal influences possibly in previous work, and as I was designing this collection and it was evolving, I just kept feeling this desire for this sexy woman who's empowered wearing the clothes.
Under the female gaze, or, you know, the idea of being sexy for so long for women has often been
with slight negative
via
connotations.
the male gaze, or questioning how empowered you are if you
for
feel sexy.
yourself, and for, you know, for me personally as a woman, you know, instead of, you know, sometimes in the past feeling like I need to hide that, which maybe I did, and kind of going, no, I can be both. I can be anything. I can move between worlds, and being a sexy, empowered woman is actually part of that as well. It's not a bad thing, and it's not something that we need to shame and hide. So that's kind of, and as I was designing it with more and more pieces, I was just feeling this incredible woman coming in wearing these clothes, and that, because I always design for these characters when I'm putting collections together. So that was sort of, and I feel like the LBD was an important part of, you know, this new character coming through.
Well, you'd be able to see, so will people be able to see the dress as part of the presentation?
Yes, they're going to be able to access through the Metaverse our virtual lookbook, where they will get the first ever look at the Banshee LBD.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So first LBD of Savile Row, you heard it here first. Ruby, it feels like you're a woman who's bringing a lot of firsts to this street. First women's wear tailoring, or one of the first? women's
We're
wear
the
tailoring?
only ones who are bespoke women's tailoring on the street, which is really exciting.
And are you the first Savile Row brand to show or to present at London Fashion Week?
We are as well.
Okay, this is the first Metaverse.
The first Metaverse.
First LBD,
Yes.
one of the first, let's just say. This seems like a lot of firsts. So you're doing a lot of things you're bringing a lot of new things to Savile Row, a place that's, changing a lot. It's evolving, isn't it? So while also respecting that heritage that comes with a place like this.
Yeah, I want to disrupt things here. And again, it's how I look at sort of when I'm even designing the work. I'm using these very traditional structures and templates of methods of cutting and making the clothes, but I'm using all these components and I'm turning them on their head. And that's what I feel like Banshee is doing on Savile Row as well.
Yeah, it does feel quite disruptive, but
yeah.
And how has the rest of the street responded to that? Presumably you've got to know lots of people on the street.
Oh, it's a wonderful community on the street. I think they enjoy.
Did you feel welcome as one of the first women's wear?
Yeah, and I think they enjoy. I think they're enjoying seeing more women on the street. Actually, I think they've got used to it now.
Listen, Ruby, thank you so much. We're running out of time now, but it's been such a pleasure to hear all about the new collection, what you're doing in the Metaverse and with what you're doing in sustainability. And just a reminder, if you would like to come down to Savile Row, number 13 Savile Row, and meet Ruby and get a complimentary consultation about tailoring, you can scan the QR code that's on the Banshee of Savile Row website. That's bansheeofsavilerow.com. And before we go, we just want to say a really big thank you to Aileen Carville of Acid House and Cadine James of the Immersive Kind Virtual Gallery, who've made this Metaverse presentation possible through the London Fashion Week Fringe Metaverse experience. The London Fashion Week Fringe Fashion Week Metaverse experience is what it's called. I hope I've got that right. Also, a big thank you to Angela Scanlon.
Yes,
another Irish woman who's involved.
Incredible jewels I am wearing. I just absolutely love her brand Frickle. I just think it's fantastic.
You're wearing some Freckle, so am I. Wearing the earrings.
Yes, I just think it's so cool.
So Irish women in fashion, technology, and sustainability really coming together for this presentation. A really big thank you to Angela as well for the jewellery. That's all we have time for today, but thank you for joining us in the Banshee Metaverse, and please come back again soon.
And thank you for joining us, Anne Marie, on Savile Row.